Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another audio commentary done by, we're gonna just power through this whole friggin' group. All the way, all of it! This is a losers match, and this is Frozean versus Bisu. A lot of people, I'm sure, are not expecting to see Bisu in the losers match, but there he is. And this is also on Tiamet, or however you pronounce it. Same map we just did for the winners match, and so it's going to be very, very interesting. We were actually discussing in between games how it might play out, Terran versus Protoss, because this is a kind of an intriguing map, so it'll be cool to see how things go.
Yeah, none of us really familiar with this map. Again, Tiamet, we saw a game just before, Huashan versus Jaedong. Huashan actually taking that out, dominating Jaedong somehow. A few mistakes there by Jaedong, but let's just talk about this map. Pylon going down from Bisu, so nothing too cheesy. I think Frozean will be playing a fairly standard game. I think because this is a losers match and neither of these guys want to be kicked out of the MSL, they don't really want to go for anything too cheesy because they're just maybe a little bit afraid at this point that that'll sort of come flat back at them. A few things about this map. There's a big sort of open center in the middle where there's a possibility for Protoss players to flank the Terran player when pushing out, and there's lots of expansions down the side, so you can sort of keep it quite defensive if you want to. My opinion is that if the Protoss player gets to Arbiters, that's probably a decent choice, just given the fact that the expansions are still fairly spread out. You can do some recalls, and also middle of the map, I'm not sure whether you can in fact build missile turrets there. We'll find out shortly, but if not, it's going to be fairly easy to just get a lot of stasis field going, and as I said, a lot of flanks going from the Protoss player. Yeah, I don't know too much about the history between these two players, but I'm really hoping that Bisu wins just so that I can see a rematch between Bisu and Jaedong, but who knows. I think Frozean desperately does not want to lose this. He previously was dominated by Huashan, so hoping for a comeback.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Bisu, granted, between these two, Bisu's been there more often, but it's just not the MSL without Bisu. It's just one of those things. Save your Bisu. Gotta have that rivalry in there. Anyway, but Frozean, he has this penchant, though, for beating players he shouldn't in really bad situations, and I think I've mentioned that before, probably even this video said it does look like the middle of the map is unbuildable. That'll be interesting. I'm also kind of, I'm really interested in this map, how it's going to play out. I'm kind of curious how Vultures will play, how Tanks will play, whether players will opt for Arbiters. Arbiters are really strong in this map, I think. I think Carriers are also pretty viable, just because there's a lot of map artifact, and there's a lot of map artifact right next to a lot of expansions. Frozean bringing that Marine up to try to chase that probe off, and yeah, I'm kind of curious how this is going to end up, whether Bisu known, it looks like he's doing a standard build. Bisu known for pretty strong Protoss versus Terran. He tends to go that early robotic facility, get that observer out, get the spot in the base, and just push on from there. Not managed to deny the scout, but honestly, I don't think he would have been able to do much with that anyway. Frozean sending out 2 Marines, which makes me very curious. So knowing Bisu's standard build, knowing that he doesn't tend to produce a Zealot right off, he tends to immediately go for a Dragoon. Dragoon being produced right there, and actually, I think that's very safe on this map. There's a huge distance. Granted, it's just a 2-player map, but there's a nice distance, so these Marines really, I don't think they're going to be able to get a lot of harassment off. Let's see, yeah, now they're starting to pull back, so I guess Frozean just hoping that there wasn't an additional, maybe trying to hit it if the additional scout was coming up. Looks like he's going to go for a fast expansion, and I'm kind of curious, because I think Terran, interestingly enough on this map, I think they have to be a little more aggressive on expanding versus Protoss players, I should say, so I'm kind of curious how this is going to work out.
In answer to your question, Vaul, as far as the history between these two players, the history of these two players goes all the way back to never. They have never met before, as far as I can tell. I could be wrong about that, but the records indicate that they have not ever met before. So that's that. I think in general, I'm going to have to assume that Bisu is going to somehow pull this map out, especially with the fact that we're kind of looking at it and it looks like it is going to be easy for the Protoss to take extra expansions, and they won't have to really defend farther away too much, but it depends on how things go. Bisu going for a Templar rush, though, and this could be very, very interesting. I forgot to check if Frozean had anything in the works for tech to block that kind of thing, so it's going to be up to Frozean to either predict this or or figures. He's probably going to get mines. This is good. He's getting engineer bay as well. So Frozean's theoretically going to be prepared for this, especially because it doesn't look like Bisu has gone for the robotics facility, so he's not going to be dropping them. He's just going to have to run them in. I don't think he's going to be able to deal with the mines very easily in that situation.
Yeah, interesting point to note that Frozean scouted Bisu initially going for one gateway, and I think he put his second gateway a bit late. Bisu going indeed for the Dark Templar rush. I don't think it's going to catch Frozean off guard and win the game outright, because Frozean suspects something. He's got the engineering bay. He knows that Bisu does quite like his Dark Templars, but the thing is that Bisu is expanding right now and is going to be able to get his expansion up at a decent amount of time, and he's actually really counting on these Dark Templars from just containing Frozean and keeping him careful. Oh my god, this is actually quite a cool idea of putting the pylon down next to the map artifact. Bisu actually just putting some pressure on with the Dragoons, trying to take out the missile turret. Oh my god, this is going to be crucial. Takes out the missile turret. Bisu actually has taken out the missile turret, so that Frozean obviously knows that Bisu is actually going to be coming in with Dark Templars. Dark Templars rushing towards the base. Are they going to be there in time? I don't think they're going to be able to make it in time, and these Dark Templars are not going to be able to get through. So Bisu, by the way, actually expanding down the bottom left. This could be really tight, guys. Bisu has not actually been able to successfully attack with his Dark Templars, and he's given Frozean a window of opportunity. If Frozean gets an academy up and really gets the detection going and pushes out with a two-base sort of all-in rush, he's going to be able to take this game. But if he delays, if he's too scared of Bisu's Dark Templars, then Bisu is definitely going to take this game with the Nexuses, double Nexus going up. I just wanted to point out the fact there, I just got lost for a minute. With Bisu putting the pylon down next to the map artifact, he'll actually know what's going to go on, and indeed putting a Stargate up, so Bisu is actually really gambling here. He's building no units. He's going all out tech and expansion, and if Frozean doesn't do something quick, Frozean is going to be thrashed this game. But Frozean actually has an opportunity to end it by simply just moving out. All he needs is 2 comsats, save up a bit of energy, push out with half control group of tanks and maybe a control group of vultures and a couple of Goliaths to help him out, and that is it. Bisu is really banking on Frozean doing nothing in response, and if he doesn't do anything fast, Bisu is going to take this easily.
I think what Bisu's kind of counting on is one, he went for a very aggressive contain, already putting down the Arbiter, already going Arbiter Tribunal, he's already got 3 expansions up, and we're not even 9 minutes in the game. Insane. In the meantime, it looks like he's just going to count on that gap, that his Dragoons are going to be able to hold that gap while that Arbiter's coming out. This is nuts. Frozean, maybe he'll get a comsat off at that main, be able to see that tech going off, but at this point, I don't know that he's going to be able to contend, because Bisu built basically nothing. During that entire time period, like 2 more Dragoons, put down an additional gateway, put down another Nexus, and now I just feel like he is so crazy far ahead that Frozean, because he didn't get that scouting and because he's kind of in a more passive position, it's just been run away with at this point, getting 2 more factories down, but going up against 3 base, wow, this is just nuts. Arbiter's in a minute. I don't know how he's going to contend with that. And Dark Templar's still there, able to go and do some additional attacking. So we saw, who was it? Dazang doing this against, I think, was it Anytime? In the OSL. It's interesting that Bisu doing something very similar, but really aggressive expansion. This is what I'm talking about. I'm really excited to see this type of play on the map. Bisu continuing to macro up, putting down a ton of gateways, and he's going to be maxed at like 12 minutes here. I'm not sure that there's anything Frozean can do at this point to really stay in this match.
You guys are totally overrating the necessity of units, I think. You're complaining about Bisu not having units, not having an army. Those are really just kind of superfluous in the long run, I think. I think Bisu's going to do just fine without any units. But no, seriously though, yeah. Frozean kind of moving out here, and that Dark Templar is apparently delaying him. That one Dark Templar, even though Frozean has got to have 2 comsat stations, that one Dark Templar keeping Frozean in his base, he decides that instead of moving out, he's just going to put turrets a quarter of a screen at a time and work his way towards Bisu's base, giving Bisu enough time to get probably 4 or 5 more expansions by the time his push reaches Bisu. Yeah, so things looking not good for Frozean at this point, because, as he pointed out, Arbiters are out, he's now got the gateways down, the expansions are up and running, so I think the window is closed, and from here on out it's going to be crap loads of units, cloaked units coming out for Bisu, and only 2 comsat stations for Frozean. GG.
Here's the point that I think is the most crucial, and that is that Bisu went for 2 Dark Templars, and that's all he made, and Frozean went for an Engineering Bay and comsats, but the thing is that he was conserving his comsat energy because he was afraid that Bisu would get in his base with Dark Templars, maybe drop them or maybe attack, but he didn't need to. What he needed to do was actually use his comsat energy to scout Bisu's main and see that he was going for fast tech, and scout the bottom left to see that he was getting a 3rd Nexus. If he'd done that, he'd been able to push up, but he was just afraid, and he didn't need to save up his comsat energy because he had so many missile turrets. So he spent resources on Engineering Bay, missile turrets, and Academy and comsat stations, no units, and he hasn't really used both the turrets and the look, he's still playing defensive. He's just sitting there. He's tried to sort of scout out with a couple of vultures. That's easily been shut down. He's just been outplayed. This is actually really clever by Bisu. I've just got to hand it to him. I don't like the fact that Frozean has just so easily sort of taken the bait, essentially, and just not really seen what's going on. He must have a fairly clear idea what's going on now. Putting down the 3rd base, it's not going to matter too much because Bisu, if he wants to, can just go and crush that 3rd base. It's going to be really easy for him. He's got 2 gateways pumping arbiters. Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Diggity.
I think we should just sit back and enjoy this. Is what should happen. There's going to be 3 arbiters out in the field. They're going to be basically Bisu is going to be able to. He's going up against 2 comsat stations with 3 arbiters.
Second, but yeah.
So I think we should just sit back and enjoy. And right now this is where we're gonna see the oh crap face from Frozean here in a second. He's trying to get some mines in the background, but now seeing that arbiter out in the field, and I think once he sees that 2nd and 3rd arbiter, this is just going to be entertaining to watch. Because mines out, I'm surprised. That's what I'm surprised about. Why not mines earlier out in the middle of the field? I think mines could really play a big role here. He went Goliaths first, which also puzzled me. I guess he was expecting dropships. But yeah, in the meantime, Bisu in a very strong position, and he's probably, I have to assume he's going to be maxed in another minute here. Putting a couple cannons down just so he doesn't have to worry about stuff, I guess, and expanding once again, and using plenty. I'm surprised he's not just going in and crushing this, and I think maybe he's just waiting for stasis, because he will be able to essentially stasis with the amount of arbiters he has out right now. He will be able to stasis.
Oh, there it goes.
Recall! Upper right-hand corner, and I think that's going to be it. Let's just enjoy the dismantling of Frozean's troops.
That was an effortless recall. Absolutely effortless.
That was beautiful. Yeah, and see, Bisu didn't need any units because Frozean didn't want to get units either, so it kind of worked out okay, right? That base going up. I was surprised.
Bisu versus Jaedong. Bisu versus Jaedong.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Bisu versus Jaedong.
That's actually what I was thinking. Is it's a good thing that Frozean just sat around, because Frozean versus Jaedong would not have been nearly as interesting. And so watching the rematch with Bisu and Jaedong is going to be quite entertaining. And as soon as Frozean brings up all his forces up here, I'm going to watch Bisu do another recall into the south of his base, and that's going to be. Well, he doesn't seem to be moving in any arbiters that direction, but that would be hilarious.
I would laugh.
Really glad that Frozean's putting up a decent fight.
There it goes. All of Frozean's forces are at the north.
Sorry, go ahead, Vaul.
He's gonna make it in. Look, there's no turrets there. Oh my god. This is just painful to watch. Sorry guys, I'm a Terran player. I hate to see this. Honestly, this is painful.
Not only does Frozean not need units, but he also doesn't need those factories, really.
Oh. He did manage to get a EMP off to at least stop a little bit of that energy there, but wow. Recalling 2 more arbiters in, and that's just a slap in the face. It's like, I don't even need it. All the factories going down now. Frozean, has he moved his units from the top down yet? They might have just died along the way. Now they're starting to move. That command center is burning. Yeah, that's a big distance on the map, so this is incredible. Bisu having 5 arbiters out.
Oh, look at Jaedong.
Jaedong going,
look at him.
Oh look, I'm going to face Bisu next.
He's got to be enjoying this match as well.
Shit. I'm going to have to face that.
Bisu getting another expansion just for fun. Just because he can.
Bisu's on 5 bases now. So yeah, that's the GG there. Oh boy. He must be feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, look at him. He's relieved. He's thinking, okay, I'm going to have to switch to plan B when facing Jaedong. But the map's going to be Coliseum, so guys, really looking forward to Bisu versus Jadong on Coliseum. That's going to be great. Coliseum's a map which does actually favor macro management kind of play, so we might see something really audacious just in terms of macro management from them. It's really easy to seal that choke and get that expansion, so really looking forward to that, guys. Coming right up.
Bisu has brought
Thanks
back
for listening, guys.
a modern version of the stove build. GG.
That was an excellent commentary.